So Arab News, the English language daily newspaper published in Saudi Arabia. It is published from Riyadh. The target audiences of the paper, which is published in broadcast sheet format, are business people, executives, and diplomats. It's owned by Prince Turki bin Salman Al Saud, the brother of the ruling crown prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman. So obviously, not exactly the least biased newspaper to get fucking information from when trying to figure out what the fuck is going on in Yemen, especially because that article is from 2018, where they were quite literally implementing the blockade that I showed you. Here's a timestamp of Saudi war crimes in Yemen.
In March of 2015, Saudi Arabia began bombing Houthi-held territory across Yemen, causing mass civilian casualties. They've destroyed targets ranging from marketplaces to hospitals, from schools, and even to a funeral recently, where 140 people were killed in a single strike. In August,
he cut off sourcing because he knows exactly what it is. You think Ethan knows that Saudi Arabia was fucking bombing Yemen and therefore doing propaganda, and he actually meticulously cut out the context so that people couldn't figure out where the source was coming from? Are you insane? He's a fucking moron. He doesn't know anything. Someone who supplied him with this information might have known, but even then, I don't think so.
Worthless. Women have virtually no rights, and homosexuality, of course.
Yeah, as far as like women not having any rights in Yemen, or homosexuality being criminalized with a sentence punishable by death, yes, they're not woke. This is not supposed to be shocking to anyone who has any brain cells whatsoever. This is not a defense of any of this shit, but you have to understand, you don't have time for fucking civil liberties when you're getting pummeled to the ground, okay? You don't have time to have your own civil rights movement when you're too busy trying to fucking claw your family out of the fucking ashes of a Boeing bomb that exploded on top of your fucking family. The pathetic nature of Westerners who go, oh, they're just uncivilized, barbaric, anti-gay, anti-woke monsters is so fucking frustrating. Okay? I can't believe the poorest country in the world is not woke, dude. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. I guess they deserve it then. I guess they deserve to be fucking bombed into oblivion. Great. It's no Western culture. No, it has nothing to do with fucking Western culture. And it has everything to do with material conditions. It's incredibly fucking stupid to have this expectation that these guys are going to be fucking woke. Okay? And also, the country that's fucking destroying them is Saudi Arabia. Are they woke? Is Ethan going to bring up the fact that Saudi Arabia also has severe penalties for homosexuality? A country that only recently allowed women to fucking drive? Is that actually woke? And Saudi Arabia actually has a direct... Saudi Arabia is a kingdom, not a fucking democracy, for the record, just so we're clear. And also on top of that, has direct access to the Western world, and even to whitewash their reputation. They don't even care enough to launder their reputation a little bit by trying to be as woke as they possibly can. So get the fuck out of here. Meanwhile, Lockheed Martin is very woke. Does that mean it's good? Are we going to do that? Lockheed Martin has a gay pride parade. They have trans pride at Lockheed Martin. The Human Rights Council has considered Lockheed Martin to be one of the fucking wokest companies to work for. Does that mean that their output is good? It's fucking stupid. None of this shit matters. Get the fuck out of here. The only reason why you're bringing this up is because you want your audience that is watching this to go, oh, they're barbaric, they're savages. It's like, no, dude, they're fucking poor and they're constantly under a blockade and constantly under bombing. Okay? Fuck. I can't believe he tried to hit me with a bigotry of low expectations when we were talking about this, by the way. That was so crazy.
Of course, is punishable by death. That lines up with leftist values. Now, just how little rights do women...
Yeah, no, man, I don't care. I genuinely don't care. And I think it's an incredibly stupid point to bring up. Yeah, I don't think they should be bombed. I don't think they should be blockaded. I don't think the other countries that are also incredibly fucking homophobic shouldn't be blowing them up with Western weapons. But you have no issue with that, do you? Or perhaps you are fucking oblivious to that reality. Yeah, I don't give a shit. What the fuck? Liberate Yemen from the throes of Western Empire, and then maybe they can have their own fucking civil liberties movement. The same shit goes. The same shit goes for Palestine. Chris Kunzler and I had a wonderful conversation about this as well. If you guys want to fucking bring up that video again, I can pull it up one more time and talk about it. It's so silly that these guys go, oh, they're just like an inferior culture that what deserves to be bombed. Is this?
They're all dead.
Or this part where he condemns Hasan Piker for his endorsement of Syed Hassan Nasrallah. We
didn't even get here. I have a question, not a gotcha, but comparison within my own life, I've been grappling with is your brother works for Boeing, my aunt works for Northrop. Should I hold her in any contempt? Does it should department this works for? Yeah, it does. When you logging off, Hasan, you seem more frustrated than usual. I'm not. I'm cooking, and I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep plowing through this to the best of my ability. Anyway, this should not come as a surprise to any of you, for the record. This is not like the soft bigotry of low expectations or whatever. This is a direct analysis of the material conditions. People don't have time to actually do gay liberation or an advocacy for women's rights when they are trying to fucking survive. Okay? And the reason why people like Ethan Klein do this gross shit is because they want to sell American imperialism to a liberal audience that is infinitely more has a lot more appetite for death and destruction, or looks at these guys as like fucking monsters when you say these guys are homophobic. Okay?
And the Houthis Yemen have. Well, according to this, there's been 1,181 violations committed by Houthi rebels against women, including torture, rape, and murder. So, not great. The Houthis have a very wholesome flag, as you can see here. It says, translated, Allah Akbar, death to America, death to Israel, and a curse upon the...
Why didn't he translate Allahu Akbar? It just means God is great. Huh. Wait, why did he keep Allahu Akbar in there? He translated the other ones from Arabic. I wonder why he didn't translate God is great. That's weird. I wonder why. Oh, that's right. Because he's a racist fucking piece of shit. Anyway, death to America, death to Israel, curse the Jews, victory to Islam, right? That's the fucking banner. I've talked about this banner before. You've heard me talk about this banner a million times over, I assume. I don't think the banner is optically correct. But since Ethan Klein used Norm Finkelstein's statements on "From the River to the Sea, Palestine will be free," even though he has no issue with the usage of it, he just thinks that it scares people, but it's all right. He's not going to fucking stand at odds with people that use it. Here's what he had to say about the Houthis in general.
Problem from hell.
Yeah.
I have to ask you this, Norm, because I'm sure people raise this with you. The fact that Ansar Allah says, curse the Jews.
It's their slogan, I
Their
think.
slogan.
Death to America, death to Israel.
No,
Curse the Jews.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't
I
get
know what
it.
I...
Wait, oh, this is just on the banner. Hold on.
I totally support the Houthis as a Jew.
Huh.
You said that, Norm.
Yeah,
The Houthi flag says, God is the greatest, death to
Why do you say optically correct? Wait, what? Optically incorrect instead of calling it disgusting? What are you doing? What are you doing? Do you think I think a curse upon the Jews is appropriate? Like, are you that desperate to try to find something? Of course I don't think it's appropriate. It's inappropriate. It's fucking disgusting. Are you happy? It's disgusting. Yes. You got it. Americans are so fucking stupid and have their heads stuck so far up their own fucking assholes, dude. Just shut the fuck up and listen to the goddamn video and you will understand.
America.
Here is Norm Finkelstein, academic, and also the son of Holocaust survivors, explaining what his take is on the banner of the Houthis.
Death to Israel, a curse upon the Jews, victory to Islam.
Yeah,
By the way, this is why I said the fucking Rashid al-Haddad making a distinction between Jews and Zionists is very clearly not for the optics. He doesn't give a shit about optics. He's in fucking Yemen, okay? These guys obviously are not thinking about what dumb fuck Americans think, because their only experience with the United States of America is when an F-18 flies overhead, drops a fucking bomb on the cement factory in Hodeidah, only to fly back and then accidentally get dumped into the fucking ocean like a bunch of payload because the goddamn aircraft carrier was doing a fucking evasive maneuver. So that's their only experience with America. They don't give a fuck about you. It says literally "Death to America" on the banner, which I have no issue with. Okay? Suck my dick.
How do you reconcile this?
I have no problem reconciling it for this very simple reason, and you'll allow me, you can disagree, I have no problem with that. From my first conscious moments in my own...
No, they lost another one? It's 3. 3. It's the third one. No, this is from... Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. America has lost 3 FA-18 Super Hornets. 3. Those are $70 million a pop. $70 million a pop. The Houthis in the process have also dropped 22 MQ-9 Reaper drones. Oh my fucking Lord, dude. Oh my Lord. The amount of fucking college education we could pay for that shit. Nope. No, it's not only 2. It's 3. Under the Brandon leadership, America shot one of its own F-18 fighter jets accidentally. And then 2 under Trump. One under Brandon, 2 under Trump.
Life, okay? My parents loathed the Germans. They didn't loathe the Nazis. They hated the Germans. In fact, I vividly recall my father once recommended me a book on the Nazi Holocaust. And I asked him, what makes this book special? And he said to me, I liked it that the author didn't talk about Nazis. He talked about Germans. Now, my parents were very decent human beings. The apple did not fall far from the tree. But I could understand that sentiment. The only Jews the Houthis have known are the Israelis. It's a regrettable fact that they don't know, have never experienced any other kinds of Jews. I remember I once asked my mother, just out of curiosity, did you ever come into contact with a German who was decent? And she said to me, she thought hard, and she said, I remember one German soldier, he had a kind of guilty look on his face. That was all she could remember. One. So it doesn't surprise me that she loathed all Germans. Do I wish the Houthis were more discriminating in their slogans? Of course I wish it. But do I understand where it comes from? Yes.
And here's a guy, Rashid al-Haddad, who is discriminating in his sloganeering, who does make that distinction between Zionists and Jews. And here is Ethan freaking the fuck out about it, which is, by the way, I mean this with all sincerity. If Rashid al-Haddad was also still chirping about like all Jews, this and that, he's still a fucking 19-year-old in Yemen. Like, what is wrong with you? He's not going to college to get a fucking marketing degree, dude. He doesn't have the same living standards as you. This is not the soft bigotry of low expectations, okay? This is just being a normal human being. Yes, of course, his perspective, as Norm Finkelstein also pointed out, is going to be a little bit clouded by his experience with Western imperialism and what Israel has done, which is quite similar to what, he doesn't have a fucking Porsche and an Aston Martin and $250,000 watches that he buys every goddamn week and fucking lives in a Bel Air mansion, okay? He has inconsistent access to the internet. Like, what are we talking about? God, these people are so fucking annoying and
Jews.
so
And that's
stupid. Oh, look at me. I'm so mighty.
all of them, not just the ones in Israel. And of course, victory to Islam. I get amused when these terrorists are like, we hate Jews. We want to kill Jews. And then people like Hasan are like, you're fucking racist for saying that they just want to kill Jews and that they're terrorists, man.
What you meant to say is Hezbollah is Muslim.
You're not thinking deep enough about this topic.
My criticism of the Houthis, I mean, it's true. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why but he demonstrated that he's not thinking deep enough about this topic. This is unironically what he is demonstrating right here. So he gets the pass for being young in the IDF, but the Yemeni kid doesn't. The Yemeni kid's not even a part of the fucking Ansar Allah militancy. Houthis' slogan, do not factor into what they are doing. Of course, it is anti-Semitic, but contextualizing it matters. Yeah, it's really interesting because that is such Western-focused propaganda. For a Palestinian to arrive at anti-Semitic opinions, okay, they don't need to read Mein Kampf. Wait, show the rest of that clip, Ethan. Show the rest of that fucking clip, you douchebag. Show the rest of that clip, you fucking racist douchebag. This is something that I commonly explain, by the way, which is that for a Palestinian to develop anti-Semitic opinions, they do not need to learn anti-Semitism by reading Mein Kampf. They do not need to learn about anti-Semitism by going to school, okay? Here's the clip. There's a whole study being made here, but the debate always ends with a slogan bad. The Houthis likely argue that is West. But I also try to explain to Americans that that the way that you try to understand how this kind of perspective, how people arrive at these kinds of conclusions is also important. Okay. Anti-Semitism is completely unacceptable. Can you imagine if you edit a clip of Ethan and Gila in IOF uniforms? First of all, you don't need to edit Gila into an IOF uniform. The equivalency would be if I edited a clip of Ethan and Gila in Nazi uniforms, because the Israeli force, the Israeli occupying force, is akin to the Nazi force in the way that they're doing a genocide, which Ethan has also agreed to. Ethan has said it's a genocide. He has even said the Israeli occupying force is akin to a force of terror. And yet, if I were to do that, he would lose his fucking mind. He'd be like, this is the most anti-Semitic thing I've ever seen in my entire damn life. Okay. 100%. And I have criticized the Houthi slogan in general. But my criticisms of the Houthis slogan do not factor into, oh, by the way, you want to hear what's really funny about this? Did you notice the clip I was watching? Did you notice something about the clip I was watching when I was talking about the Houthi slogan? So if Ethan had actually sourced this by watching the actual source material, he would have already seen Norm Finkelstein's perspective on this. And maybe he could have made a decent argument against my perspective, backing off of Norm Finkelstein's perspective on this. This is my point, chat. He is disingenuous, and he's clipping everything out of context. If you watch the full video, okay, that I just showed you, or if you watch my coverage over it, you understand that I'm talking about how unacceptable the Houthi slogan is. Having said that, here are the reasons as to why they have developed this opinion, because all the Jews that they've ever known is Israel, okay? All the Jews that they've ever known is Israel, as Norm said, and that all they know about Jews is just death and destruction to the Palestinians. So yeah, that's where the anti-Semitic tendencies develop. But it's not the same as oh, they control the media or whatever the fuck dumbass Americans say about Jews. It's more so just talking about Israel's death and destruction, which is valid. Why is it referred to as the context nuke? Because he just nuked all context by clipping shit out of context. As I always say, and I repeat in this fucking clip as well, which Ethan could have actually sourced from if he truly cared about my actual opinion on the Houthi slogan or where it comes from, but that would require him to, one, actually do research, and two, try to make a convincing argument, a convincing counter argument, instead of fucking slapping a photo collage behind me where he posts like this fucking random dumb fuck and banners of I guess like Hamas and the fucking Houthi banner behind me. I can't tell if he's dishonest or just stupid enough to think that he understands what you're saying without ever looking for context of any kind. No, he is dishonest. He's incredibly fucking dishonest.
Oh, I almost forgot the most fun one. They brought back slavery.
We think the Houthis, Ansar Allah, is doing what Luffy would do.
That lines up with leftist values. All right, so these guys are clearly the bad guys. So my question is, how does Hasan cover such a genocidal, violent, misogynistic, homophobic, terroristic organization?
Terroristic. Oh, you want to see a Houthi musical? Sure. These were the people that the Saudis were killing. Yeah, for the record, and he actually left this in there. These are the people that the Saudis were killing. And the song that they're fucking singing here is directly about Saudi Arabia, by the way, just so you know. These fucking musically gifted individuals. Yeah. Yemen's "We Do Not Care" chant from today is a refrain from the folkloric war song mocking all of Yemen's enemies. Some have requested it. Here's the entire thing with English subtitles.
Okay, I'm sorry. I need the money, guys.
I'm gonna grab my food.
I'm so confused. What is this?
I mean, they're shitting on MBS. Does Ethan like MBS? Is that what's going on? Is that what's happening? Explain the slavery. Don't forget. Oh, yeah. Wait, did he, I forgot. There's a bunch of things that he actually sourced in here that were really stupid, but I fucking jumped over it because I don't give a shit. But Ethan at a certain point is talking about how like the Houthis are bringing back slavery, and he's too stupid to recognize that it was actually the government that Houthis overthrew that was bringing back slavery. That is literally what he did. Yeah, the only source for bringing back slavery is, again, Ashharq al-Awsat, another Saudi propaganda rag, in the process of them doing a fucking mass blockade and mass starvation in Yemen. But I guess he's completely consistent in that regard. He just always happens to find himself loosely associated with groups that are engaging in mass starvation of Arabs, you know, whether it be Saudi Arabia or whether it be Israel. Interestingly enough, you know, this was the other article, Houthis restore slavery in Yemen. And then there's also a point where I think he uses like an Al Jazeera documentary that an Al Jazeera documentary to be like, oh, the Houthis actually did slavery in Yemen. And the actual Al Jazeera documentary that he uses in his fucking video is unironically from a documentary called Slavery in Yemen, okay? And this documentary is actually before the Houthis overtook the government of Yemen. Yeah. This is his proof that the Houthis did slavery in Yemen. It was made in 2014 when the Saudis were in power and they were implementing slavery. 4 years. Yeah. Also cites his BS article, which furnishes no credible evidence whatsoever to support his claim and does not happen to be printed in, like Noah stated, a Saudi propaganda outfit owned by the same royal family that beheaded Jamal Khashoggi. But again, who cares, right? Can you imagine if I did a video? I did a video talking about fucking, I don't know, I did a video talking about Russia and Ukraine, and I just only sourced my shit from Russia Today. What would Ethan do if I were to do that? Yeah, I'm gonna do a video talking about Russia's military campaign, a special military operation in Ukraine, and how justifiable it is, and then only source Russia Today articles to really drive home a point, okay? Only sourcing state propaganda from fucking Russia. Yeah, it'd be ridiculous. Everyone would understand that that is ridiculous, but Ethan is here taking advantage of the fact that many of you don't know any of this shit, okay? That's it. Where are we? Where is the rest of this fucking... Ethan only cares about Israel? It's true. He really does. Lol, didn't you already do that? Can you show me where I did that? Show proof where I've done that or you get banned. People always say that I've done this, but I've looked back at so many of those videos from other slop tubers that have claimed that I'm like being pro-Russia and realized that half the time it's actually me criticizing Russia, but they were too stupid to understand that I was criticizing Russia and they thought I was defending Russia. It's literally that.
That's right, my friend. Hasan just played straight up terrorist propaganda without even being there to analyze it. Surely this must be against terms of service. Twitch does not allow content that depicts, glorifies, encourages, or supports terrorism or violence.
Yeah, he's trying to get me banned, okay? And it didn't happen, which is why he fucking lost his mind a little bit. But, you know, better luck next time, I guess.
Extremist actors. For example, displaying or linking terrorist or extremist propaganda, even for the purpose of denouncing such content. Denouncing? Okay, but what's the rule for endorsing it? Is that okay? The answer is yes, as Hasan was never punished for this blatant violation of Twitch community guidelines. Got it. So denouncing terrorism is bad. Don't do that. Endorsing terrorism is good. Okay, got it, Twitch.
By the way, his takes on this and fucking Asmongold's takes on this are identical. Asmongold and Ethan Klein both want me to be banned. This video is literally on YouTube, dumbass. What the fuck are you talking about? YouTube is Hamas. Okay, I'm going to give a quick analog to this, okay? I watch Come Out Ye Black and Tans and videos on the IRA, and I glorify the IRA. The IRA was a terrorist organization, okay? Same with the ANC. Same with all of these other fucking, same with the FLN, all of these other groups that have actively fought against imperialism has always been branded terrorism, okay? And the same goes for the fucking Houthis. The Houthis were not even considered a terrorist organization up until Donald Trump left office. He, as a last-ditch effort, as a goodbye present to Saudi Arabia, when Saudi Arabia was continuing its endless blockade against Yemen, Donald Trump called them a state sponsor of terror, okay? I've not only talked about other terror groups that are designated as terror groups by the United States of America, like PKK and shit. I've literally had a fucking terrorist on my stream. What are we talking about? Okay? Brace Belden literally fought alongside a PKK cutout in YPG. What? And I've had him on the broadcast a million times. Shut the fuck up, okay? And of course, I'm not talking about Gila when I say I've done a broadcast with a person who is affiliated with a designated terror organization, okay? All this stuff is just simply to point to my commentary and say, dude, don't do that. You can't do that. You can't actually show context. You can't actually have fun, which I am doing in this situation. It's a serious subject matter, but I'm making light of it, okay? It's a serious subject matter when you talk about all of the fucking untold amount of crimes that Saudi Arabia did to the people of Yemen. I think it's perfectly fine to be able to fucking crack jokes here and there where I say, ooh, they're musical people. That's very clearly a fucking joke. But it's also true. They are musical. I mean, they do musicals all the fucking time. Do you mean Brandon designated them as terrorists? No, Trump did it on his way out of the office the first time around. Brandon actually reversed that decision. When I actually interviewed Rashid al-Haddad, who is not even a Houthi, but even if he was, it still would not have been an illegal interview regardless. And to this day, I have no problem interviewing members of the Ansar Allah movement. I would just simply would not do it on fucking Twitch if I were to have that opportunity. Actually, that's not even true. I probably would still do it on Twitch as well. Like, I'll give you another example. I interviewed a Cuban doctor in Cuba at a time when Marco Rubio was designating Cuban medical missions as illegal, okay? I did that deliberately. I had a long and extended interview with a doctor from Cuba that had done medical missions, including worked in the United States of America. Okay? Cuba is still considered a state sponsor of terror. Cuba is still considered, I'm going to repeat that again, a state sponsor of terror. I'm planning on going to fucking Cuba and actually live streaming from Cuba. So clearly, there is a little bit more nuance in this subject matter. The only problem here is that Twitch actually capitulates a lot to this kind of pressure coming from outside groups because they don't want to fucking, they don't want to rock the boat too hard. Yeah, here it is. Look at that. Cuba. Democratic People's Republic of Korea. I play Iacha all the fucking time. Remember when Dan Stalkman tried to get me banned because I played a fucking DPRK song? Think about how stupid that would be. Iran, Syria. At a certain point, you have to recognize that America's state sponsor of terror designation is ridiculous. Okay?
This is a 3-minute video of, what do you mean a music video? When you said music video, I'm expecting like, bad example, Chris Brown dancing,
No. They do they do
this?
musicals. They're very Notice how Ethan never points to, like, Ethan will just be like, oh, they're homophobic. But with respect to the reasons as to why I say I think the Houthis' actions are defensible in terms of resisting against Israel's genocide of Gaza, something that Ethan also is in agreement with. Notice how Ethan actually doesn't talk about that at all. He's just like, yeah, these guys suck. These guys suck. It's the same exact way to refuse to tackle an argument and rely on the audience also not having a good grasp on the situation whatsoever. Can't believe we've only done fucking 34 minutes, by the way. Musical people.
Are you being serious?
Dog, what do you... Look, you think I made this?
Isn't I know they're singing, but I'm seeing just guns and shit. This isn't a music video, Hasan.
No, it is. They do musicals about, like, their fucking... their actions all the time.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. I've got this. Instead of terrorist propaganda, let's call it musicals.
They do musicals.
Instead of violent jihadists, let's call them musically talented people.
They're very musical people.
Are you being serious?
Guys, let's just use our brains. Fiddler on the Roof, Wicked, Alexander Hamilton, man. There's no reason we can't put these Houthis on Broadway.
Well, they go, listen, you want to fucking bring a ship through here? We're going to take it. So that's exactly what the Houthis start doing. They start fucking sending in helicopters onto fucking ships. Bro, they fucking, look at this. They got the Palestinian flag that they painted under the helicopter with the Yemen flag. They fucking they start overtaking the ships. And they're like, guess what, dog? No more trade to Israel. If you are sending ships into Israel, if you are owned by an Israeli subsidiary, if you're owned by an Israeli corporation, we're going to take over your ship. You cannot fucking use this trade route anymore. Guess what, bitch? It's our fucking territorial boundary, and we're going to enforce this until you stop doing genocide in Gaza.
So let's review his claims. His first
Okay, great. Please.
First claim is that the boat is headed for Israel. It's not. It's going from Turkey to India. Next claim is that it's owned by an Israeli company. It's not.
Galaxy Maritime Limited is owned by the Isle of Man ship. Beneficial owners are Abraham Rami Ungar and Yael Ungar. Huh. So you just copy-pasted? You just copy-pasted the Wikipedia page without even, like, thinking about what it was showing?
It's being chartered by a Japanese company, and the boat's owners are registered in the Isle of Man. I'd like to remind everybody that the crew that's kidnapped...
Oh, the boat was... Oh, dude. Oh, they were just a bunch of Isle of Man people. That's what it was. The boat was owned by the Isle of Man. Okay? Interesting. Yeah, there's probably no, like, flags of convenience situation happening here. It's just the Isle of Man is the Isle of Industry. Everybody knows they're industrious people. The industrial nation of Isle of Man, they are really important for commercial shipping. Yeah, they are. They're fucking... It's a flag that you place on your goddamn ship, dumbass. It's owned by fucking Israelis, and you show that in your fucking fact check.
Kidnapped in this video has been missing for over a year now.
And they weren't missing. And even Willie Sloptube called him out for this. They actually had numerous occasions where United Nations and, like, other humanitarian missions actually went in and checked on their well-being. They did welfare checks throughout the process, And by the time this video came out, they had been released, as a matter of fact. Ethan literally lied again, okay? He lied over and over and over again. I have a VPN out of Switzerland. I am Swiss. Yeah. Yeah, ICRC visits the crew of the hijacked ship for the second time since being detained in Yemen. A delegation from ICRC has visited for the second time 25 members detained on Galaxy Leader, the Israeli vessel that was hijacked by the Houthis late last year in response to Israel's war in Hamas and Gaza. So the fact that he just simply did not even look up how commercial shipping works, flags of convenience, and the fact that he didn't even realize that it was owned by Israelis. The ship was owned by fucking Israelis, for the record. And also, the Israeli that we're talking about is a close friend of Yoav Gallant of the Likud party, for whom Ungar purchased tickets to the World Cup finals in July 2018. International shipping mogul Abraham and Yael Ungar. The amount of time he spent on this when he was like looking for out of context clips that he could slap together, perhaps he could have done a better job of, I don't know, making a convincing case. Nothing to do with Israel, though, according to Ethan. Nothing to see here.
Zero updates on their health, whereabouts, or anything. That lines up with leftist values. Hasan's third claim is that this attack happened in their territorial waters, which is also a lie. It happened in international waters. Hasan is lying for the Houthis.
Oh my God, I can't believe this was happening on international waters. Yeah, how the fuck are you supposed to implement a blockade on the Red Sea? Yes, it is still off of their coastline. It's infinitely closer to the Yemeni coastline than it is to the United States of America. What the fuck are American naval vessels doing on international waters then? Get the fuck out of here. Find the rest of the clip. He left out a very important part, Lamau. What do you mean?
He's like he's being paid. And honestly, at this point, is he?
I'm being paid by the Houthis, dude. The poorest country on the fucking planet is actually paying me. Yes, flag. This is, I know, I said it's a flag of convenience. First, a business practice whereby a ship's owner registers a merchant ship in a ship's register of a country other than the ship's owners, obviously. And as you guys already know, we're debunking here. It's not okay that they took people hostage, all right? Brother, what the fuck are you talking about? You are literally, it's like the double standard here is so fucking insane to me, okay? You are complaining that in the process of taking over a ship, they took hostages, okay, as a mechanism of deterrence, while simultaneously what they're trying to stop is the ethnic cleansing of 2 million people, okay? Think, please, Nazi Germany, if you had other militancy groups that were cutting off supply lines and maybe taking hostages in the process, where people were Nazi-owned industry was passing through in an effort to harm the Nazi movement, would you be like, I can't believe they're actually taking hostages? Or would you understand why the partisans, for example, engaged in actions like that? That's it. If you consider what Israel's doing to be a genocide, then you can't fucking sit around and complain about the Houthis. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Jesus Christ. Yes, I am losing my voice. I am. Like, what are you supposed to do? Play fucking patty cake? Like, what do you mean? This is why Ethan's position is completely fucking inconsistent, where he says it's a genocide, but you're not supposed to do anything. Like, what are we talking about? Yeah, they did this, by the way, during the blockade of Germany. The economic war involved operations carried during World War II by the British Empire by France in order to restrict the supplies of minerals, fuel, metals, food, and textiles needed by Nazi Germany and later by fascist Italy in order to sustain their war efforts. There was a naval blockade implemented, but I guess it's fine. I guess it's fine when they did it because they're the good guys and not the bad guys, as Ethan says. Ethan just simply says they're the bad guys, and that's it. How are you supposed to take a fucking ship without actually taking over the people that were navigating the ship? Whose fault is that, by the way? Is it the fault of the sailors? No, of course not. It's not the fault of the Filipino crew. It's the fault of the fucking Israeli company knowingly, after the Houthis said, as a mechanism of deterrence, we're going to start taking ships if they try to cross our boundary, still said, fuck it, YOLO, go through. Who gives a shit? Yeah, John Brown took hostage at the Harper's Ferry Armory. That too. Propagandist.
Well, no,
For the record.
no. I'm not quoting
I'm a
it.
propagandist.
This is like a hostile. They're streaming this.
Yeah, they're flexing.
What? And they're coming in hot with guns.
Yeah, but you have to understand, this is a deterrence. Israeli society is going to start getting upset. They're going to be like, I can't get my treats. I can't get my Amazon Prime deliveries. What the fuck is going on? I hate this. Israel sucks. I'm leaving Israel. That's the goal.
I find it disturbing that Hasan thinks that a slowdown of imports is going to cause Jews to flee Israel. 80%.
Oh, dude, what the fuck is a blockade, Ethan? That's the whole point of a blockade. The entire point, the entire purpose of a blockade is to cause instability, is to literally, in the least deadly way possible. Jews, by the way, like I said, Jews. Yeah, I can't wait for the Jews to leave Israel. That's what I was saying, right? He has to always slam it. Like, dude, nobody fucking cares, okay? Nobody cares. Like, you can't just, Jews are not magical people, dude. What the fuck is this, like, exceptionalist argument? Oh my God. What is this exceptionalist argument? Like, oh, Jews have nowhere to go. You want the Jews to leave Israel? Oh my God. Oh my God, so scary. So scary. I'm talking about Israel, man. I'm talking about Israel and Israelis, okay? Fuck. It's like, it's literally, like, I think he just keeps saying it because he thinks like American normies are conditioned to be like, oh, but not the Jews. Like, this is going to be just like the Holocaust. What the fuck? Yes, that is the whole purpose of BDS as well, which is a peaceful mode of resistance, civil disobedience, a demand to boycott Israel. A part of that is because Israel is cast aside as a social pariah in the global stage. This is the most effective, most meaningful mode of peaceful resistance against the Israeli apartheid, against the Israeli genocide. What are we supposed to do? Nothing? We just have to sit around and be like constantly condemning Hamas and condemning the Houthis. That's the only way to fucking stop Israel from doing a genocide, I guess, in Ethan's mind. Yes, the point I'm making there is that before it gets to a point where people are fleeing Israel because their living conditions, their living standards have worsened, Israel makes the decision not to continue its genocide. It's that simple.
Of Israelis were born there and do not have citizenship anywhere else. So where do you want them to go, Hasan? Back to Poland or back to the Arab countries they were forced out of?
What? Where do you live, dumbass? You live in fucking Bel Air. Shut up. Yeah, back to Poland. Yeah, that's what I was implying, that they should go to Auschwitz and fucking die in a death camp. Like, what kind of insane, if I felt that way, I would say it, okay? It's not like anti-Semitism has exploded on the planet. It's not like people are shy about that kind of perspective that they hold. Jesus Christ.
Hasan attempts to deny Jewish heritage in the Middle East. It characterizes them not as indigenous, but as white colonizers. This is the
Israeli heritage in the Middle East is now tarnished by, well, first of all, Israeli heritage in the Middle East. What the fuck is Israeli heritage in the Middle East? That doesn't exist. Shut the fuck up. You're talking about a 76-year process, okay? You can't really call that heritage in the Middle East, okay? But as far as Jewish heritage in the Middle East, that's valid. You can talk about individually Arab Jews and whatnot, but that's not what you're talking about. You're playing fast and loose, making this dangerous fucking conflation between Judaism and Zionism once again, over and over and over and over again, okay? Hasan is denying Israeli heritage in the Middle East. The Israeli heritage in the Middle East, you know what that is? Death and destruction, genocide and apartheid. That's the only thing that Israeli heritage is in the Middle East. If you're talking about Jewish heritage in the Middle East, that's a little different, of course. Jews have lived in the Middle East for a very long time, as a matter of fact, under the rulership of the Ottoman Empire and even far before then, Okay. But as far as like Israeli heritage in the Middle East, that's like saying, you know, what about the Boer heritage in South Africa? What about Rhodesia's heritage? Why does nobody care about the Rhodesian heritage in Africa? Shut the fuck up. Israeli heritage in the Middle East is death, destruction, genocide, and apartheid. It is the Nakba, okay? That's all the Israeli heritage is in general, and specifically in the fucking Middle East.
Despite the fact that 60% of Jews in Israel are actually native to the Middle East.
This is wild.
So these guys did all. Are they native to Israel? Are they native to Israel, Ethan? Are 60% of the Jews living in Israel native to Israel? Are they native to Israel, Ethan? They're not native to Israel. Shut the fuck up. Oh my God, what is this? And then he tries to fight the audacity of this fucking asshole to claim that he is not. To claim that he's not doing fucking Zionist propaganda this entire time. Holy fucking shit. Are you native to the Middle East, Ethan? Is that where you're native to? You're an Israeli citizen. Like, what is this? What is this fucking argument? Like, you think anyone, like, the argument is additionally fucked up because Palestinians are native to the Middle East, specifically to the land that is occupied by Israel, dominated by an exterminationist, Jewish supremacist, exterminationist principle, okay? Exterminationist ideology is fascist, okay? Palestinians can't even go to their own native land. And this motherfucker has the audacity to be like, well, you know, that's where Jews are native to. It's just it just belongs to them. Why are you even questioning this? It belongs to them. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Like, you're a Libyan Jew. It belongs. Palestine belongs to you. Sorry. You're a Jewish person from Morocco. Palestine belongs to you. Sorry. They're native. They're native there. Don't ever question this. Don't ever actually mention the history of this. It's not that long ago, by the way. Like, this isn't that long ago. There are people that are still very much alive while all of this was unfolding. Your React is a real content noob because holy shit, you destroyed him. I'd be surprised if he won't leave the internet forever after this. His lies are now out in the open. If you think a single fucking fan of his actually gives a shit, you're out of your mind.
Telling the Jews of Israel to go back where they came from, Hasan attempts to deny Jewish heritage in the Middle East.
Oh, he didn't say Israeli heritage in the Middle East. He said Jewish heritage in the Middle East. My bad. Well, let me tell you, Jewish heritage in the Middle East is not Israeli heritage, okay? So you can't fucking talk about Israel while talking about Jewish heritage in the Middle East. So my point still stands, but I misheard him. He didn't say Israeli heritage in the Middle East. It's still fucking Zionist bullshit. It's still Hasbara. It's still Zionist propaganda.
Characterizes them not as indigenous, but as white colonizers.
Because they're not indigenous to Palestine, brother. They're not, okay? No amount of, you don't understand, they actually are, does not change that reality, okay? And it's exceptionally stupid to make this point, like I said, because the actual indigenous population can't even go to their fucking ancestral homeland, okay? He said both. Pretty sure. Yeah, he just uses it interchangeably. Jew and Israel is interchangeably used throughout this entire process. And that is because he loves that conflation and he loves wielding it as a shield.
This is despite the fact that 60% of Jews in Israel are actually native to the Middle East.
This is wild.
So these guys did all of this, right? They did all of this.
Is that their helicopter?
Yeah.
That looks like a legit helicopter.
It is a legit helicopter.
This is wild.
So they take it over. They take it over. They take it over. And they tell the people in the ship, it's usually like mostly Filipino people, Filipino crews.
Oh.
And they're like, all right, well, you know, we got no problems with you, you know. Wait, did he initially say, okay, fuck, I'm sorry, I'm going back. Did he initially say Israeli heritage in the Middle East and then said Jewish?
Turkey to India. Next owners are over. Hasan's third claim is waters.
Well, no. What? You're going to be like, I can't get my treats. I can't get my Amazon Prime delivery.
That Hasan thinks that...
I hate this. Israel sucks. I'm leaving Israel. That's the goal. I'm sorry.
I find it disturbing that Hasan thinks that a slowdown of imports is going to cause Jews to flee Israel. 80% of Israelis were born there and do not have citizenship anywhere else. So where do you want them to go, Hasan? Back to Poland or back to the Arab countries they were forced out of?
Israel sucks. I'm leaving Israel. That's the goal.
By telling the Jews of Israel to go back where they came from, Hasan attempts to deny Jewish heritage in the Middle East. It characterizes them not as indigenous, but as white colonizers. This is despite the fact that 60% of Jews
Anyway, what? Don't you think that the Jews deserve some place they were in a minority after being persecuted like in World War II? Not saying how they went about it was right, obviously. Dude, that is a fucking ridiculous thing to say when talking about killing Palestinians and genociding Palestinians. Like, what are we talking about? Build it in fucking Germany then. What the hell? No, no one deserves an ethno-state as a treat, by the way. What a ridiculous assessment. Come on, don't you think the Jews deserve a little ethno-state as a treat? They've gone through a lot. No. The argument is fucking fuck no, okay? Yeah. Let's build a little ethno-state in the middle of an area where other people were living right on top of it. And then, you know, they'll just fucking ethnically cleanse the population there.
They're like, all right, well, you know, we got no problems with you, you know, but you're coming with us. We're taking over the ship.
What an incredible way to characterize having a gun in your face. Hasan is asking us not to believe our own eyes as we watch terrorists hostilely kidnap the crew.
We got no problems with you, you know, but you're coming with us. We're taking over the ship.
And once again, the crew is still MIA for over a year.
They're not. And they never were MIA. It's fucking bullshit, as I already mentioned.
Prisoners to a terrorist organization. But don't worry, guys. Hasan says they have no problem with them.
They're like, all right, well, you know, we got no problems with you, you know, but you're coming with us. This is a 3-minute video of what do you do in music video? When you use a music video, I'm expecting like, are you being serious?
I like that the implication here is that Nick is actually terrified of me and not a good friend of mine. Like, I terrified Nick.
I know they're singing, but I'm seeing these guns and shit. This isn't a music video, Hasan.
I bet Hasan's friend really appreciated being fed terrorist propaganda on camera. Let's see what he had to say.
Because hell, even a couple days ago, I was hanging out with my buddy Hasan, and this guy unironically put a terrorist propaganda music video on it.
Is he making the argument? Like, this is some parasocial bullshit, dude. Yeah, Nick hates me, dude. He's fucking terrified.
Left the room.
Left the room.
Yeah, and I was just like, and the thing is, like, in hindsight, it's hilarious, you know. But at the same time, I'm like, what is going on here? This is wild to me. Yeah. But like, I just, and like, he was like, yo, they're such great dancers.
Oh my god.
I was like, okay. Wait, is that how it works? If you watch like a politics TikTok, you get recommended Hasan right after? Is that how it works? Bro, he's all over this page. What? That's crazy.
What
Click
is this?
Dude, Hasan be saying some wild stuff, man. So I don't know if we can.
Here's another incident of Hasan enjoying some Houthi propaganda.
Twitch, don't ban me. This is within the context of this video. How can they not agree with the Houthis when this is the kind of music video that they're coming out with? They got a beautiful voice too. Yeah, Israel been real quiet since this dropped, dude. The fucking mixtape.
Oh,
that's a joke, Ethan. Do you... Bro, I'm never allowed to make jokes. Jokes are only when you call someone a pedophile and slander them. Jokes are only when you fucking say the person you're debating is sleeping in a race car bed, or I guess jokes are when you sig heil a bunch. That's the comedian, by the way. He fucking hates it when other people make jokes.
Hasan, my sweet, naive friend. You say that Jews don't sing and dance like that? Then what the fuck do you call this? That's right, bitch. What the fuck you stepping on our shit?
Yeah, Israel been real quiet since this dropped, dude. The fucking mixtape. I'm not gonna lie, this is the first attempt that he's made at like actually making a joke. You got a beautiful voice too. It's not that bad. Israel been real quiet since this dropped, dude. I mean, it's very 2016 humor. All right, come on.
Our sweet, beautiful, cute little TikTok twink. This hairless young man is the fantasy of every tween and twit.
Oh my God, he's so weird, dude. He's such a fucking weird guy.
And all the boys and girls on TikTok. He's cute. He's got a mustache.
I'm just glad he didn't play fucking Psytrance, okay? I would have died.
He's a freedom fighter. Beautiful eyes. They call him Timothy Chalamet because he's a Houthi.
Bro, are we about to have a Houthi rebel on stream? Yes, brother. What do you mean? Excuse me? Of course I'm about to have a... I'm a journalist, okay? This is journalism. I'm being sarcastic here, but there is journalistic value to this fucking interview, for the record. And two, I did think he was a Houthi. I thought he was a Houthi when I first interviewed him. I don't have an issue with interviewing Houthis. I do not fucking care. I don't know why people genuinely think that this is a major point of contention. I keep repeating it over and over again. I want you guys to understand the truth. I want you to understand that this person is not a Houthi, not because I'm scared, not because I'm like, oh no, I interviewed a Houthi, like that's terrifying. No, I'm telling you he's not a Houthi because he's not a fucking Houthi. I don't have an issue with interviewing someone from the Al-Houthi family or a member of the Ansar Allah movement. Please. So weird. It's so weird. Motherfuckers want journalism, and when I'm trying to do journalism, they go, why are you doing that? Bro, you are going to get banned? I think it would be ridiculous to do that.
Hasan now has the opportunity to express his journalistic chops.
Yeah, here's what it is. Yeah, what's so crazy is that we tried to nab an interview with Rashad, the Yemeni teen who went viral for WAPO before Hasan Lahan got the scoop. Ethan continues to chastise Hasan for legitimate journalism in an interview with half the MSN mainstream media was chasing. And you remember when he lost his mind when Taylor Lorenz said that? He was like, Taylor Lorenz sucks.
To get his boots on the ground and show us just how good of a reporter he can be.
I'm doing journalism, chat. Does he know what One Piece is?
He's been watching it since he was a kid.
No way!
Yeah.
That's sick. Yes. Love you too, man. Big time. Yeah.
I love you. I love you so much.
We're big fans of the Yemeni music videos. You can tell them that. I want to ask him about the knife. The knives are sick. What's up with the knives? You know, the curved knives.
If one of those knives comes out in front of you, it's not going back until it has blood on it.
Oh, okay. My bad. Well, I mean, I think it's cool though. That's so crazy. So they're just chilling with the cat. Wait, why didn't he post any of the parts where I literally do ask him direct questions? Are you a Houthi? He says, no, I'm a Yemeni. Or do you hate the Jews? Like he just like all of the parts of the interview, especially in the beginning, where I'm addressing some of his background and trying to get a better understanding of what's going on. And he just literally fucking, he just cut all of that out to be like, oh, you guys are having like a love fest. Yeah, I am. Yeah, it is a fun interview. I'm humanizing a 19-year-old Yemeni teenager. I'm sorry, Ethan. I know that's fucking terrifying for you. I know. God forbid people in my goddamn community actually get the opportunity to talk to someone and develop a better understanding of someone's culture when they're literally stuck in the poorest country on the fucking planet. Okay? The knife thing is a Dune joke. Captains, like, I don't understand.
The crews on these ships, and they like win them over with their charm, and they make them hate America and the U.S. government.
That's so funny. I'm a journalist, okay? This is journalism. It's so weird. Motherfuckers want journalism. They keep saying terrorist simp. Don't worry, brother. I'll fucking bring on an IDF brigadier general and suck him off for you so you can see what a terrorism simp looks like. And when I'm trying to do journalism, they go, why are you doing that? What do you mean? I'm just chilling. We're just vibing. Yeah, we're just vibing. We're vibing big time.
Hasan uncritically interviewed this kid for about an hour. It was the most brazen display of disgusting terrorist propaganda that I have maybe ever seen in Western media.
I don't get the outrage. You're literally married to a terrorist. No, you don't understand. She's good and he's bad. Yeah. The fact that Ethan recognizes he's a kid and then continues to say horrendous shit is so gross. I know. What has happened to, does he know what has happened to any of the crews? Like, I heard they...
Hasan almost asked a good question, but it's actually leading to the most obscene part of this interview.
He's saying he hasn't spent much time with Chinese people, but one of the captain was Chinese, and he did clot with them, and he danced some music with them, and he was vibing, so he likes him, yeah.
So, I mean, what... That's so crazy. So they're just chilling with the captains? Like, I don't understand.
Ask yourself, why is he able to hang out with the captain and the crew of this pirated ship? Why would he even have access to that? Hasan knows why. Of course, he is a Houthi terrorist. Instead of challenging him and demanding more details about these